everyone, thank you for dropping by. Today I'm going to attempt to teach link stitch. I don't know if I will succeed or not, but I'm going to attempt. It's one of my favorite stitches. I use it the most. I don't know if it's my favorite. It's the one I know how to do the best. I also try Coptic stitching, and both of them I like, but today I'm going to attempt to teach you how to do link stitch. Wish me luck, and wish you luck too. Before you link stitch something together, you need something to link stitch together. So I printed out this A5 size graph notebook, which is called Notebook, and it has 6 signatures. We're going to try to link stitch this together. First, we're going to have to measure where the holes are, and then we're going to have punch holes in the paper for the thread. In the late 1500s, Maeda Matsu and her husband were in charge of Kanazawa area, and they encouraged the arts, including papermaking, with the thread. Start from the outside. Start from the outside. And go in the next hole. Go in the next hole. And pull it all the way through. Not quite that far. Start from the outside and go in the next hole and come out, and without taking it all the way through, stop with a couple of inches of thread on the outside, sort of like this. There you go. Hold it so it doesn't go through. And here, move it. Then we're going to go inside. The same hole we just came out of, and then we're going to go out the next hole. And then we're going to make a loop here. And then back in. And out the final hole. And because it's getting nice and loud, we'll stop. And we have string at the end, and we have 2 loops. From the first signature, you want to go up to the corresponding hole in the second signature, and then down to the next hole, and come out of the second signature hole and through the loop. You're anchoring the second signature to the first signature. So you go through the loop and then tighten it up. Once it's tightened up, then you go back into the same hole in the second signature to tighten it up a little bit more. And then you go to the third hole in the second signature and come out and go through the loop again and tighten everything up. Then you go back in the same hole you just came out of and go down to the final hole in your second signature, making sure everything is tight. Then pull on both threads and tie them off at the final hole in the second signature. I usually tie 2 knots to make sure nothing slips out. Then you go up to the first hole of the third signature, tighten things up, and move to the inside of the second hole, and then come out. And now you're going to loop around the loop that you made in the first and second signature. And what you should do is go back in the direction you're coming from. For example, if you're going from the head to the tail, and you come out the second hole of the third signature, then go behind the loop that you've made between the first and second signature, but go from the tail to the head. So you're threading from head to tail, but when you get to the loop in the second hole, go behind it towards the head, towards the way you're coming from, and then loop it around that and up into the same hole. I hope that's not too confusing. I'll try to make it more confusing. When you come out of the hole, you're going to go behind the loop you made between the first and second signature. You're going to behind it towards the head. And when you come out, make sure that the thread is inside the other thread, inside your thread, so when you tighten it up, it tightens up the thread from the second to the third signature before you enter the hole. When you get to the end of the third signature, you come out and you're going to go around the loop between the second and the first signature, but you're going to go out in the same direction that you are sewing. So in the first two, you're going to go back, but in the third one, the last one, you're going to go forward, but still loop inside the extra thread. Then you enter the corresponding hole in the fourth signature and continue up towards the other direction. On the 2 middle holes, you'll be going behind and back and then up and through. And on the last hole, the top hole, you'll be going out, around, and then up in the same direction that you're sewing. Here is a good example of what I'm talking about. When you come out and you go back from the direction you're coming to. So you go back to the tail, around, and then you make sure you're underneath the tail of your thread. So that was the link stitch. Here's the link stitch, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I explained it well enough so that you can enjoy it. And here it is. If you didn't understand, you can tell me. Tell me I did a bad job of explaining it, and I will try to explain it better next time. But it's a useful stitch. I hope you use it in the future. And see you next time, eh? Bye.